One MAGA supporter said, "If you want a vision of the future, imagine a fat white guy with an Asian American and Pacific Islander wife and kids going on Tucker to complain about the great replacement forever." Hashtag JD Vance. Large portions of the MAGA fan base are revolting at the amount of diversity that can be seen in this year's RNC lineup. MAGA is not happy about it, and JD Vance's wife is even Indian American, which is not leaving MAGA happy. Matt Walsh said, "Trump has just reached mythic status by defying death and surviving an assassination attempt, and the GOP decides that the best next move is to have him sit and listen to a porn star talk about diversity. Brilliant move, thanks guys." And that is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets much, much worse, but MAGA is really going mask off now that they're slightly up in this race. People on Twitter are saying, "I finally want a dictator, I do want a dictator," and it's getting 40,000 likes. Neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes, hi Kaiser Rev, said, 200 black guys, the Goya Bean CEO, a slut with a face tattoo, and David Sachs, your new GOP. He is genuinely a far-right neo-Nazi. Nick Fuentes then said, "After bringing on a stripper who is famous for taking blah blah blah, and then an immigrant who struggles to speak English lecturing us on the wonders of legal immigration, I know, no I pray, they did not actually just bring a Sikh woman to recite an ancestral prayer at the American RNC. It is over, folks. It's time for curtains. Thank you for coming." These people are mad because America is a cultural melting pot. It's supposed to be the land of the greats. Ray on Twitter said, "WTF is this?" And it's JD Vance talking to a Jewish man. Anti-Semitism is running rampant. Keith Woods said, "Comes within an inch of death. GOP handed once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to give him the most badass return ever. Sits him down to listen to a speech by a stripper with a head tattoo." David Ick said, "Guess who will run the White House again under Trump and Vance? The same people who run it under Biden." And it's a picture of a Jewish person. Genuinely just straight up anti-Semitism, not even trying to hide it. These people feel so emboldened on Elon Musk's Twitter. Jaden McNeil said, "I'm sure this guy is going to be great on immigration." It's a picture of JD Vance and his wife and his kid. Genuinely just some deranged stuff. The Last Pirate said, "When the RNC is in danger of winning, they always come up with creative solutions like Jeetmak," which is a racist term playing off the Indian names Rajit. They're saying Jeet maxing, maximum amount of Rajit. It's an incredibly racist term. People on Twitter are just absolutely vile. Just the worst of the worst. Watch this clip of far-right neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes talking about JD Vance and his wife.
JD Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity? Like, there's a white genocide going on in the world. White people are being systematically replaced in America and Europe through immigration and to a much lesser extent due to intermarrying. This guy has a non-white wife and a kid named Vivek. This guy is going to be a defender of white identity? I don't think so. This guy's going to defend American identity? If he does, it's going to be no better than any of these other civic nationalists like Vivek Ramaswamy. How else could you countenance American identity if you have a mixed up family like that?
The deep state has officially activated the gay sleeper agents and sent them to the RNC. Leave a like on this video if you're glad that the deep state did. But the Republicans are now trying to appeal to new demographics. They're trying to have the broadest coalition, a big tent, heading into this election so they can maximize their chances of Donald Trump winning during his last ever run. If he loses this election, he'll never run again. I mean, unless he does run in 2028, who knows? But they are trying to maximize his chances, so they're trying to appeal to broader demographics. They're not all of a sudden super open, they're just trying to make sure they have all of their bases covered. And in the process of doing that, they're alienating key portions of their fan base, like the racist white men demographic. People like Nick Fuentes, people like Matt Walsh on Twitter are now revolting, are now mad at the Republicans for having such a diverse lineup. And first, Republicans turned on Mike Pence. They literally wanted to hang him. And remember, Donald Trump never even called him to see if he was okay after that. Now they are already turning on JD Vance for having an Indian American wife. and they're already turning on him for other reasons. Like, he used to be a semi-rational human being. He used to be actually sort of intelligent. We were reading some of his old tweets, and he was talking about COVID and actually trying to find viable solutions to stopping the pandemic, stopping COVID from spreading, and he was looking at Sweden's model, he was looking at the model of different countries. But as soon as he turned MAGA, as soon as he put the MAGA cap on, his IQ dropped, and now he just panders to the lowest denominator. He panders with this vacuous far-right rhetoric about immigrants, about the economy, this populist rhetoric about how he's one of us, he's the average man fighting for America. Meanwhile, he's in Congress cutting deals with Donald Trump and other billionaires. But the whole moral of the story, if we zoom out, is that Republicans have created a monster that they now cannot tame. They have let people be racist. They have emboldened this racism repeatedly by dog whistling, by appealing to these people, and now that they want to appeal to a more diverse base, they are not able to. I've always said that I think Republicans could actually appeal to a lot of minorities in America if they just weren't so racist, because a lot of minorities are decently socially conservative. A lot of black people are religious. A lot of Hispanic Americans are religious, and they are socially conservative, but Republicans haven't been able to appeal to them because Republicans are so racist and they can't hide it. And that leads to 90% of black Americans voting for Democrats. A little bit about JD Vance's wife, who does seem more smart and accomplished than most of these right-wing trolls on Twitter. Usha Vance is a successful lawyer who grew up in San Diego and met her husband while they were both studying at Yale Law School. They married in 2014 and have 3 children together, Ewan, Vivek, and Mirabel. Public records show Usha Vance voted in Democratic primaries as recently as 2014, but she voted in the 2022 Republican primary when her husband was running. After she clerked for Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, she spent years working at the law firm Munger, Tolles & Olson, whose diversity initiatives and workplace structure have been described as woke and radically progressive. She has recently informed them she will be leaving her job, the firm told NBC News. And if you put this all together, it really does sound like she grew up sort of Democratic leaning. She's sort of blue. She's probably has decently liberal values, but now that her husband has been sucked into this MAGA world, she is trying to separate herself, distance herself from that, from the law firm that she worked at that was described as woke. She's trying to distance herself from the fact that she voted Democrat in 2014, and now she is voting Republican. Usha Vance is also a practicing Hindu, and JD Vance credits her and her faith with pushing him to reconnect with Christianity in his adulthood. And keep in mind, people like Ann Coulter were saying that they couldn't vote for Vivek because of his faith, because of his nationality, and it looks like they're revolting in a similar way with Usha Vance. It's actually pretty sad, but either way, Republicans created this world, now they have to live in it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have a great day.